Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me. It's always a pleasure to be back in N5. Thanks again, Reka, for the opportunity. But also, it's a very interesting time because of the occasion, the Innovation Week in the UAE, and the topic, actually, open data. There has been a growing interest in open data in UAE and Dubai over the past few years. But then the announcement of the open data law a few weeks ago by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum brought a lot of attention to this topic and practice. So today, let's have a conversation about it, open data. What does it mean for us, whether we are entrepreneurs, business owners, or people who are into innovation and developing solutions for smart city to make people's life better here. The clicker works? Yeah. Is it on or? Okay. So I have been into this topic, open data, for the past 5 or 6 years. Luckily, I was part of the UAE e-government team. And at that time, as a strategist, my job was always to look for new trends, practices that can help the public sector innovate to provide better public services, design better policies. So open data was one of the topics we looked in. And we initiate the motion towards open data back in 2010. And since then, as I said, there have been growing interest in the topic. And today in Dubai, we launched, as part of our company, Xantium, Open Data Institute Dubai Node, which is a node or partner for the Open Data Institute in the UK. Now, just before getting into details, I would like to know more about you as well. So I assume part of you are founders, startup. Okay. How many of you are doing their own business? Okay. Excellent. In technology, IT? Oh, okay. Any employees in agencies, government? Cool. So we're all entrepreneurs here. Okay. We got the government here. Okay. Thanks a lot. Since we are in Innovation Week, I find it appropriate to share with you some update I got just a few hours ago. This is a snapshot of the email, actually, I received. I will leave it for you for 30 seconds to go through it. It's another thing I'm passionate about, drones as technology. So we pitched this idea for UAE Drone for Good Awards, and we got selected and shortlisted for the semifinals taking place next February here in the IC. Congratulations. Thank you so much. I think that will be my next startup, okay? So I'm going to play a short video, around 2 minutes, just about this drone concept. Yeah. But the audio is off in the YouTube, yeah. Can you repeat? Yeah.
معمل إلى الهواء الطلق بحيث مشروع فلاي لاب بوفر للمدارس طريقة جديدة لتدريس مختلف أنواع العلوم وذلك نقلها من الطريقة التقليدية في الفصل الأول معمل إلى الهواء الطلق بحيث تلعب طائرات بدون طيار وتقنيات أخرى دور محوري في العملية التعليمية. في كثير من الأحيان يقوم الطلاب بدراسة أو حل مسائل عملية داخل الفصل نظرية أو في المعمل لكن داخل الجدران بشكل منفصل تماما عن البيئة المحيطة حيث الحياة.
Can you move the cursor?
فوائد فلاي لاب عديدة جدا سواء للطلاب والمدرسين في أكثر من 1200 مدرسة في الدولة أو المهتمين بشكل عام بهذه المواضيع. النقطة الأولى هي ربط طرق التعليم بتوجهات المبادرات المدن الذكية والتعليم الذكي والحكومة الذكية في الدولة. النقطة الثانية تشجيع الطلاب على الاشتراك في تعليمهم أدوات أساسية في عصر
just move the cursor away.
استخدام تطبيق مفاهيم الإنترنت الأشياء وخلافه. أيضا إبقاء جو من المرح والتشويق على العملية التعليمية ونساعد في نقل الطلاب من القاعات المغلقة إلى البيئة الحقيقية خارج.
يتكون فلاي لاب من طائرة بدون طيار مزودة بمجسات وسنسرز وجهاز حاسب أو لوحة برمجة مثل أردوينو أو راسبيري باي تتواصل وهي في الجو مع الحاسب الشخصي للطالب.
يمكن استخدامه أكثر من طريقة بيعتمد على الحالة الدراسية. على سبيل المثال إذا احتاج الطالب في مسألة ما لحساب درجة الحرارة أو رطوبة الجو فبإمكانه تقييم الطائرة بالمجس المناسب واللوح الحاسوبي وإطلاقه في الجو. كل مسار يتم تحديده مسبقا.
يقوم الكمبيوتر الملحق بالطائرة بإرسال النتائج مباشرة إلى جهاز الكمبيوتر الشخصي للطالب لحساب العملية المطلوبة، وذلك باستخدام إنترنت الأشياء.
بالإضافة إلى شغفنا بالتكنولوجيا بشكل عام، حياتنا في الإمارات ومتابعتنا للمبادرات المتجددة في مجالات مثل المدن الذكية وإنترنت الأشياء وخلافه كانت مصدر إلهام رئيسي لنا في تصميم فكرة فلايلاب.
بحكم إني أب لأطفال في المدارس، لاحظت من خلال تجربتي معهم إذا تمت شرح المادة العلمية بطريقة عملية يتم فهمها بطريقة أسرع وأفضل من الطريقة التقليدية.
So, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. It's all connected. Everything is connected to everything. Drones, data, open data. So back to our topic. So when His Highness announced the UAE Innovation Week, he emphasized on the fact that innovation is not a luxury. It's not something optional anymore. So it's essential for countries, for agencies to grow and to sustain. For me, the best way to put it is the comparison, the irony of Kodak and Instagram. When was the last time you took a photo with Kodak camera? Okay, it used to be a synonym of photography. It used to be, the term Kodak moment. But then now it's just Instagram time, right? The irony is that in 2012, Kodak filed for bankruptcy, and then a few weeks later, Instagram got acquired by Facebook for $1 billion. Okay, why did that happen? How come a huge company like Kodak?
They were not innovative, so they kept their way, their model, everything the same.
Exactly. Even when they tried to be innovative, they kept thinking within the box of old ways of doing business in photography. So making better cameras. While the whole point was that most of the people don't need cameras anymore because they got the smartphones, right? So Instagram got in and got us this nice app where you can easily take a photo, add filters, share it online with a wider community. 13 employees, only $1 billion. Okay? So it's not about the lack of financial resources or technical resources or capabilities. It's understanding the new roles of doing business in this digital age and being innovative. So let's take this to the context of government, of cities. There are drivers for change that encourage cities and government to change or enforce them, actually. It depends on how you see it. But most of these drivers are connected somehow to technology and to the digital age we live in. So social networking, social media empower citizens, individuals. Any one of us now can be connected to the internet on the move. Can connect with people inside the city, outside the city, share content, speak out, right? If you're not happy with a certain service for a company or a government department, you can just complain or write about it, right? People doing that all the time. People keep comparing their cities to other cities around or in different parts of the world because they know, because they can Google things. And then there is this tendency to get the things we need now, right? So people are not as passionate as they used to be. So we need excellent government services, excellent mobile apps, and we need them now, right now. So this makes even more pressure, or puts more pressure on those who are in charge of designing government services and government policies. And then we got the mobile apps. And the challenge here is that the growing generations, most of them, they don't know even web, right? So we use web, internet, and then now we are trying to get familiar with the mobile technology. But for them, it's Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. So it's difficult for them to go online and apply for a service online. They wanted the way they use Instagram, easy, efficient, and fun even. Personalized services. So if I'm gonna get notification or a service from a company, from an agency, I need it to be for me, personalized for me, not a generic one. And then on top of that, every now and then we have a new international index. The most innovative companies, the most innovative governments, e-government index, doing business index, etc. SMEs index. And whether you like it or not, you will be there on the list. Either in top 5, top 10, top 20, or down the list. So again, another source of pressure on you as a city, as a government, to improve your performance, to go up in the ranking. So a mix of drivers, a mix of source of pressures on cities from internal, from inside their societies or outside, to improve, to rethink the way they do business. This is another photo, can summarize the difference between this time, this age, the digital age, and pre-internet or pre-digital age era. I'm not talking here about 25 years ago. Okay, I'm talking about 10, 11, 12 years ago. You can see it. People are listening to you, right? Because the message got to be out in one way. While here, everyone is empowered to speak out, to share content, to connect with others, to organize things. The challenge for government and cities is the following. The government practices, the city practices, laws, regulations, processes, etc., have been in place for decades. And the philosophy behind that have been in place for centuries, right? While all these changes happened in a few years. So how can we innovate in a way that enables us to move from Kodak era to Instagram era, to provide our services, to build our cities for citizens who live in Instagram era? Now, there are tools for innovation in new digital age. And again, because of the power of technology, many of these tools are somehow related to technology. Data, social media that engage citizens, Internet of Things, drones, 3D printing, etc. So today we're going to focus more on open data. I will discuss with you how open data can help government innovate, but also can help us as entrepreneurs to contribute to building the smart city we want to live in, to get more business opportunities, and to innovate. How many of you heard of City Mapper mobile app? City Mapper? Okay, so for those of you who travel in London and many other cities around the world, City Mapper is a nice way to go around, to move around. So simply you want to go from point A to point B, use the map, the app, which tells you about the possible routes you can take, with the coast, etc. Now, this app helps you to use the public service, which is public transportation. But this app wasn't developed by government. It was developed by someone like us, entrepreneurs. But to develop this app, they needed data. So they needed data, such as timetable of trains, right? Train trips, the location of the station, geographic coordinates, ticket prices, etc. So they can build a solution. Luckily, the government in London provided this data openly. We will come to this part. But they provide this data in an open format, so developers can use the data to build mobile apps and other solutions. Because of this app, and because of many other solutions built using open data, today we have such big numbers. Tell the economic value of open data on a macro level, on a country level. So in the UK, a government study estimated the economic value of publishing government data openly to be around 0.4% of UK GDP. On the EU level, estimated that open data and sharing the government data openly create an economic value of 140 billion euro every year. For this reason, Neelie Kroes, the former vice president of the European Commission, who was in charge of the digital agenda, called data the new oil for the new digital age. I think this makes more sense nowadays, noticing the decline in oil prices. So these are totally new area of economic opportunities for all those involved in the process. So government, businesses, citizens, etc. On the UAE, a couple of years ago, we conducted a quick study to measure the potential impact of open data if open data was adopted as a practice for the government at the federal level. And we got this number, 1.7 billion dirham annually. Now, from where that number comes, or where is the revenue opportunity?
Private.
Yes, private is part of it, yes. But part of this economic opportunity go for the government itself. Because when governments share their data openly, as I will tell shortly, they can be able to make smarter decisions, be more efficient, and save money. Okay. And arguably, we can talk about licensing some of these data. Now, for entrepreneurs, for business, for private sector, this data is a great source of opportunity. Just like CityMapper, we can use the government data to build solution apps for the city we live in. And then for the public, because of these solutions, a citizen, a resident can make better decisions in their life, right? To commute, to move around, to find jobs, to find properties, etc. Now, what is open data? Before going into a definition, just let's do this quick exercise to have a sense of open data. I would like you to grab your phone, your mobile phone, and let's Google to find the following piece of data. I want you to get me, let's say, the GDP of UAE. Very basic piece of data, right? The gross domestic product of UAE, GDP of UAE. I'll give you 60 seconds to get that. That's more than enough. UAE GDP. Did you get a number?
402.3
Good. Did you get a number?
as of 2010.
2013. Okay.
The growth rate in the United Arab Emirates is 4.82%.
Okay, that's growth rate. Okay, another good number also. Now, I want to ask you, what's the source of this date, of this number? It's written there, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Which website? World Bank. Yeah. Nice. Wikipedia, which is again, it will have a source, maybe the World Bank also. Okay. Wiki. Trading economic. .com, right? Yeah. Okay. Another source? Now, did you notice something here?
All have the same source.
Yeah, but none of these websites is a government website. It's a UAE government website. Okay? But isn't it interesting? Because this is a very basic and simple piece of data that anyone who is interested in doing business in the UAE, okay, want to know it. Yet, it's available from many resources, and I know it's available in some government websites, but it's just difficult to get. Like you Googled it, but you couldn't get it from a government website, right? So that tells you this is a very basic piece of data that many people need to know, and you can build on that. Would like to have data about the traffic, school, education, healthcare, etc. So, yeah, please.
So I just want to mention also there's different figures.
Exactly. So when I have a single government portal that I can trust, right, with updated data, accredited data, then that will help me, it will make my decision even more informative, right? Thanks for the point. Now, open data, we have two words here, open and data. Data is just a reminder. We talk about data, not information, not knowledge. So the simple form of data, the basic form, the raw data. But then data need to be open. In a simple way to say it, open means that anyone, either an individual or a company, can access that data, can use it, can share it. So what does anyone mean? Let's see how data can be closed. How many times you search for a piece of data like this one and you end up having a report, nice report, in a PDF format? Okay? Now you give that PDF format, PDF file to your team to analyze it, and then, some might do extra effort to extract the data and then do the analysis. But for most of the people, that the use of that PDF file is limited, right? Because from a technical point of view, that format is not machine readable, unlike spreadsheets, right? So there are a list of barriers that prevent some people or companies from using that published data. Technical barrier is one of them. It's very common to go into a website for a government entity and ask you to register to get that data. And then the financial barrier. If you have to pay some amount of money to get that data, then that might be a problem for some people, right? Maybe they don't want to pay. But more important, and sometimes more difficult, you might notice a small note at the website saying that all rights reserved, right? Copyright. So from a legal point of view, you don't have the right to use this data in your business, to make business out of it, right? To share it with others, etc. It's not detailed on the website, legally speaking. So the legal barriers is another important barrier. So that's why most of the data we have today might not be open to a degree that enables us to do business with it or benefit from it properly. Make sense? So we are looking for data is basic format. So if I'm looking for healthcare data from UAE, I'd like to have a simple table, let's say, about number of hospitals, the ratio of doctors to patients, etc. Someone mentioned to me the term big data when you had a talk before we start this session. So big data, personal data, open data, let's put them all in a context. This is the data spectrum published by the Open Data Institute in London. So we have the big data here, personal data, government, business, closed, shared, open, etc. Because we have open data, that means we have closed data, right? So the term is data. Let's see where open data fits here. You might have some data in your own company or agency, but you share that data with specific people, right? Something like sales report. So according to the internal policy you have, that policy defines who get that data, right? So this is kind of closed data. And then you start opening up. So the driving license you have in your wallet contains some piece of data, right? About you and your vehicle. But that license, that driving license, is meant to be given for you only, the owner of that car. So you got named access to that data. And then we open up more. We got some data shared with a group of people according to a certain policy or rules, they say. And then we get data published with the public. Here comes the open data. But again, we need to give you that data according to an open license, legally speaking. Like the bus timetable, like the information about metro station. This is public information published by the government. You can use it, either online or offline. Now, because of the benefits of open data, I just given some example about on the macro level, but we'll share with you some details on micro level. Many countries started adopting this practice on a country level. The US, for example, took the lead on that. So 2009, they launched data.gov, a portal that share with the public government data sets. It started with around 70 data sets. Today we have got nearly 200,000 data sets from all sector of governments, different agencies, etc. If you go to the website, please check the impact page. On that page, they share with you stories of business in the US doing business using data published on this portal. And this is an example of them, iTriage. Again, successful business in the US, mobile app that can be used by the public. So if anyone have a health issue and not sure if he or she needs to go to see a doctor, etc., he can check the app, share the issues he got, and then get some basic information, advices, etc. And the app can connect him, advise him where to go, the nearest clinic or doctor to see, etc. This app, to be able to provide this advice, uses data published openly on that portal from various government agencies. So again, without the data being published in open format, it won't be possible for the developers to develop this app this way. In London, we talked about City Mapper. This is the Smart London Plan, which is published online. And this is the approach they're following to pursue this plan. As you can see, it's all around getting people engaged in building the smart city solutions, finding solutions for the challenge facing people living in London or visiting London collaboratively. But to do that, London government share the data it got in open format with the public. And then people use data to innovate technology solutions. Solutions like mobile apps and other forms of solutions. There's an important point here. The government is not anymore have to provide the service, but it got the responsibility of ensuring the citizen got the service, right? It's like education today. There are many private schools, not run by the government, but regulated by the government. There are many private hospitals, right? So the same with the public services. It's not necessarily anymore for the government to develop the mobile app and publish it. But the government job is to make sure that developers, entrepreneurs can develop that app, and part of this responsibility is to share the data publicly with them. Data is the fuel need. Any questions so far? Please feel free to interrupt me whenever you have a question or query. And this is the Open Data Portal or data store for London City. Similar to the US portal, it got a lot of data sets published there, and also stories about companies doing business using these data sets. This is from Tokyo. Sorry, you didn't get the English version of it. This story from 01 Government, 01 GOVT, another startup of mine as well. So we share stories on government innovation technology in Arabic. So in Tokyo, authorities needed to improve the experience of passengers using Tokyo Metro. Now, instead of doing it the old way, they decided to open up for entrepreneurs. So they asked the public to develop mobile apps in a contest to make people journey in the metro better. They didn't share a specific problem. They didn't ask for a specific solution. They just shared the data and asked the people to submit mobile apps. I know in N5, you do a lot of hackathons. So it's a hackathon. But the fuel for, the input the entrepreneurs got is the government data about metro and transportation. then developers, designers take that data to develop the mobile. Now, how is that different than from the traditional method? I used to work in the government. You know, the practice when you need to develop a solution or a mobile app that an internal committee will design the an RFP, right? So you you define the problem, and then you ask for a solution, for a company to develop a solution to solve the problem. And you design even the criteria of that solution, right? So at the end, you'll have a few number of employees defining the problem, the solution, and then a short list of companies that are interested in developing the solution. The problem here is that you limit the number of people and companies who can work in developing that solution. There might be great people, great companies, but yet it's a limited number. This way, you give up data, you ask people to develop solution, and then you have an unlimited opportunities of people, entrepreneurs, small companies, big companies, university researchers, even people living outside UAE can come and join in developing that solution. But again, the challenge for government agencies is this the shift in mindset, to give up on that part, share the data, and let the people contribute in developing the solution. Another example from Singapore this time. I love this example actually. So Singapore this year celebrated 50 years of independence. You might know that. And because of a special occasion, they wanted to celebrate in a different way. So they launched a contest. Can we go to that URL, please? The URL at the bottom, yeah. So, yeah. Yes. So they launched a contest. They asked people of Singapore to tell the story of Singapore as they see it using the government data. So you can develop anything, a website, a mobile app, anything. It's just the only condition is that you need to use the government data published openly. So that's the competition page. Let me just browse here, show you something. So it's an example of the innovative ideas you can get when you open up for people. So let me go for the first prize winner. What did they do to tell their Singapore story as they see it? Okay. So those guys got the digital archive of the Straits Times. It's a newspaper in Singapore, around 170 years old. Okay? So they got the digital archive of that newspaper, openly available, and then applied some kind of data analysis of the content they got. So they got tons of articles, news stories, etc., for around 170 years. That's a huge amount of data. So that's even big and open data, right? And then, they launched this website. Where you can explore the history of, that's the about page. Now how to get into start exploring. We have a screen issue here. Oh. Yeah, same. Can we move the change the resolution maybe? Just one bit. Always the founder page, but not the. So, can you, let me check if I have a different URL. It's the same one. That's strange. Can you share the screen resolution? Okay. Sorry for that. We can share the link through PowerPoint. But when you go there, one way to explore Singapore's story on their website is that you got a chart screen where on the horizontal axis, you got a timeline starting 1850 till 2010. And then on the vertical part, axis, you got a long list of keywords. Things like British, Singapore, China, government, public, sport, random keywords generated from the digital archive. And then you choose a word, and then you start drawing a line. The line goes up and down according to the number of time that word occurred in the digital archive during that particular year. So interestingly, for example, if you pick the word Japanese, you see the line straight, almost zero, and then there's a peak between 1938 and 1945. Why? World War II, because of Japanese occupation for Singapore. Of course, during that time, Japanese words were all over the newspaper. So it's a nice way to see the history of Singapore, the way country emerged in politics, economy, social, etc. So this kind of ideas, it's very difficult to get them when you have a limited number of people working on a mission to celebrate a country national day, right? But when you open up for the public, the opportunities are infinite. Okay. Here's a short video telling other example of what open data can do for a city, but also what entrepreneurs like us can do with open data. Shall we play? Yeah. No, the other one. Yes. Please put it in full screen and let's unmute the audio. Yes, unmute the audio full and move the cursor up. Yes. Thank you.
Every day, vast amounts of open data are being used to change the way we live our lives. This data has the power to improve education, enable us to be healthier, to be more productive, the power to build better cities and a better world. From San Francisco Bay to the beaches of Barcelona, the City Mapper app uses open transport data to make people's daily travel easier, easing congestion and improving mobility. And it means that Maria can get home quickly from work and still have time to meet her friends. In Singapore, Andy can track cases of dengue fever throughout the city, and with the help of the community, takes steps to contain the disease. This helps keep his family safe, and also enables a more efficient health service, meaning doctors and nurses have more time to treat emergencies. By using open data, the government of Burkina Faso can compare and evaluate local schools looking at performance and amenities. This helps the government devote resources to the schools that need them most. In Nepal, earthquakes are a dangerous fact of life. By using open data, the structural integrity of the schools and health centres are being recorded. So city planners like Vishal can save lives by repairing high-risk buildings before future disasters strike. In Qingdao, the new WOW portal allows collaboration between citizens and government departments. So Kang can not only find any city information instantly, he can help city planners create better services and a better quality of life for all. Open data is data that is made available by organisations, businesses and individuals for anyone to access, use and share. It has the power to transform and create a better future for everyone.
It's okay. You can stop it. You can stop it, yeah. Yeah, you can pause, please, yeah. Thank you. So for those of you who asked me before the lecture, is it a technology thing? I think it's beyond that, it's more than that. It's about creating better solutions for our life, to make life easier, happier citizens, but then we use technology, right? Using the open data. Can you go back to the? Yes, thank you. Any questions, please? What? No, to the PowerPoint, yeah, please.
You mentioned about open data and everything. I mean, what do you think is the issue in embracing open data? Is it a cultural issue? Is it an education? Is it technology?
Thanks a lot. It's a mix of that, and I have a part with that. But yes, it's a mix of that. But the main issue is it's a shift in the government practices, okay, and the society as well. So it's not to make this shift. Every country got its different story, right? And that's the main challenge. But I will talk in detail about this in short.
Excuse me. Will you talk about security? Because in my opinion, that's the biggest constraint on open data,
Yeah.
especially from governments.
Yes. The perception we get is that by default, all data should be closed and secured because it's data, especially in the government sector. But when you dig into details, and I did this as in my previous job, okay, you discover that for majority of the data, it's fine to publish it, okay? There is no harm in publishing this data. But you might not have the right law that allow you to publish the data. Yes, there are parts of the data that should not be released, either personal data, so you're not expected to release the data of healthcare record of patients, right? Or drivers, etc. And then the security, for security reasons, there part of the data should not be released. But then you have a wide range of data that can be released publicly without creating an issue.
I'm a believer like you know, that open data is good and it shouldn't be closed.
Good, we have believers here.
No,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But you know, to be realistic,
Yes.
some people don't publish a document, they share it with one person, or they don't send it to a group,
Yeah.
an individual file.
Yeah. How?
For different reasons, you know, fear
Sure.
or and so on. So I think on a larger scale, there is that's the biggest challenge for governments to share the open data and adopt the mentality.
Totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. And I've been through this before. So I work on this as an open data advisor for many, let's say, government agencies, inside and outside UAE. So in particular case, I had a nice conversation with about this topic with the government official. So he told me about, he raised the same issue, security, etc. And then I grabbed a booklet containing data from the annual report of that agency. I told him, would you mind publishing this data? Again, he raised the same issue, but I told him it's already published in the booklet. Okay, so for him, the booklet was fine, but putting it online publicly is another issue. So in that particular case, it's just an example of the shift needed in mindset in the practice. And also, maybe because of the lack of the law, that agency felt insecure of sharing data, right? So I agree with you. Security, privacy is an issue, but the perception and the shift needed in the practice is the main issue here. It's a journey. It's not happening. It won't happen overnight, but it's a global motion now happening. And because of this value proven in many cases, more governments, more agencies, more cities are adopting it.
Okay, I have one question.
Please.
I am here.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, where we are from an intelligence data, not the data. The data is not the thing. So data doesn't give us, okay, it's like, it's a raw data. Where we are as a government or a businesses on the region from the intelligence data, either business intelligence data, government intelligence data, where we are today.
Okay. And what is intelligent data, if I might ask, like, how do you see it?
The question is, like, okay, just we have a lot of information about health, how many patients, and then, but the intelligence data says, okay, there's an insight and there's a learning, we should take an action based on that through an automation platforms. Like, okay, we just go to Amazon as an example,
Yeah.
as a private. There is a recommendation engine which is have a pattern of users, like what they like, what they don't like. So this is the best optimized journey for our customers. Or something. So where we are in the region and how far we are from the advanced.
That's a very nice point. Now, if we got the data, as you said, raw data, it's better to have insights generated based on the analytics we do on that data, right? Now, this is the opportunity we're thinking about. So if we as entrepreneurs got access to that data, we can do that analytics. We can create solutions, mobile apps for the public to be able to get that insights to make decisions on daily life. So today I go to Google Maps, right? To go from here back to my office or go home, right? And Google Map advise me on the best routes I can take. That's insight, right? Now how Google How does Google do that?
Through their platform.
But they got data from government, right?
Are we far on the region in terms of business intelligence?
I mean, I believe like if you talk about UAE, Dubai, we need ingredients here. So we need data for sure, but we need people who can do business or create value from that data, either in the government or outside the government, okay? We got the very dynamic startup community in the UAE and also very active private sector. But in my point, what was missing is matching up the government and the government data, the private sector. So for example, here in N5, we used to have hackathon, Decode Dubai, every few months. And the turn-up is great. You got developer, designers, people with ideas, etc. So for me, it would be great to see a version of that hackathon powered by government data, sponsored by government, like RTA, for example, can join the hackathon, share data for the metro, and ask the people to develop app solution for the metro. Here you can take that data and do that kind of analytics you want to do. Okay.
So do you think if we have the platforms and the technologies ready, some people will...
I'm not worried about the technology. For me, it's the least concern. It's always their technology. We got the minds, we got the people. We need the practice. We need to embrace the practice itself. Okay, that's the concern. So since we start talking about UAE, let's share with you some data here. Sorry. So UAE started publishing data on the federal level back in 2010. And today, if you go to government.ae, the national port of the UAE, you'll find a section about open data, now evolved to be an independent portal. And also there's a portal for the National Bureau of Statistics for UAE data. So the country is doing, let's say that's the position on the Open Data Barometer. There's a great chance for improvement, tells you the number. And UAE is defined just like other GCC countries. The open data is initiated, driven by the government. So there is a great chance for the private sector, for startup communities, entrepreneurs community to join up and build a real community of open data. This is the portal itself, screenshot of it. And here are some stats I did, some analysis I did in the area about the data published in this, on this portal. So you can see that around 24% of the data is about education. You get 33% on healthcare. Two big topics in the UAE, education and healthcare. And then economy, some random data about the usage of online government services and other sectors. The number of data sets was around less than 200. Definitely we need more data sets, definitely. And of course we can talk a lot and argue about the quality of the data sets. Are they updated, cleans, etc. And then speaking of format, these are the format in which data are published. Again, there is a lot of work to be done here, but at least we have the practice in place. That's a good part of it. Now, the great development happened a few weeks ago when His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid announced the Open Data Law. These are the actual tweets I got in Arabic. So he announced the Open Data Law, which will enable governments to publish, in Dubai at least, to publish data openly, according to clear criteria, clear guidelines. So government now can share the data according to a law that answer all the concerns, including the security and privacy concern we tackled on. And His Highness mentioned that this law based the foundation, the legal foundation for building the smart city and building a knowledge-based economy, but also building collaboration with the private sector. In that law, for me, as a person who is active in this field, I see three key features. First, it shows the leadership support for this movement. As I said earlier, it's about change. Changing from all practice have been in place for decades to new practice, to open up data and to allow people to develop solutions with the government. Here you need leadership support. So this law, being issued and announced by His Highness, showed the commitment of the UAE leadership for this movement. And for those of you know about the way public sector works in UAE, it has been always innovative, futuristic, in adopting new practices. The second thing is that it sends a message. Because the law and the announcement came from His Highness, it sends a message that this is not an e-government or tech initiative. So in the whole GCC region, there are several open data initiatives. All of them are incubated within the e-government body. Now, you always need to start somewhere. But the problem with having it as an e-government initiative, electronic government initiative, that it gives the public the perception that this is a technology thing, which is, for me, basically no. Yes, we use technology to create value from the data we get, but it's a business. Think about building a better city, improving people's life. So it's about services, art, culture, transportation, oil, gas, everything. And that's why we need people from all kind of backgrounds, interests to start working with us on open data. So it's not a technology, it's not only for people with technology background or people who are doing technology stuff. And then, again, it offers the fuel for innovation, especially under the theme of a smart city and a smart government. Today, innovation is in the top of UAE agenda. A national policy was announced. So we need this kind of, we need the data so we can contribute to this movement. Now, globally, there are issues with open data, yes. So many countries adopt open data, but there are so many gaps. Okay? And we are still learning. So these are some of the issues here. First, I'm citing The Economist, most of these data are useless. Because you go to a website, there might be hundreds of data sets published, but then you discover that some of them are outdated. The quality of the data is not helpful, right? So you need to do your work on cleansing the data, going through it, filtering it, etc. So there are issues with the data itself. And then there is a need to train, educate government employees on how to handle the data job. And again, data analysis and data science is a new kind of a skill. So there is a problem with that. And then we need more collaboration between those who publish the data, talking about government, when you talk about open government data, and then those who use it, like us, entrepreneurs, or analysts, or researchers, business people, etc. So we need stronger relationship, more collaboration. If I would like to conclude on what we can do to move forward in UAE to tackle the opportunity now enabled by the new open data law, I can suggest the following. First, building capacity within the public sector. Because it's a new practice, required new skills, new set of skills. So there is a need for building the capacity within the public sector, and then building up the open data community. And we have great platforms like N5, DIC, who hosts this talk now, right? Who have access to the startup community, to the private sector in Dubai, who are interested in such kind of business. So we need to bring government into this conversation around open data. Government then can share data, can ask people, what do you think about the data we published? How do you use it? What kind of data you need to do business? And then jointly, we can collaborate in innovating solutions for smart city. And even though it's a global movement now, every country has its own context, local context, has its own local priorities. So we need to focus on practicing open data in a way that help us achieve our local agenda. Here we're talking about innovation, smart cities, smart government, citizen happiness. So we don't have, and we shouldn't, copy successful practice from other countries. Yes, we should learn from others, but we need to develop our own version of it. And finally, creating an impact. It's good to publish data, but it's great to create an impact using that data. Publishing data is not enough. So how many jobs created using that data? How many business opportunities happened because of that data? Did we improve the public services, the government mobile apps, the way people use public transportation or move around, etc.? Do we get more tourists to Dubai because of open data? So these are kind of results we need to focus on. And finally, share our story. I just share with you examples from around the world, from Singapore, UK, US, etc. Together, we need to start sharing our stories. I would love to hear about mobile app created in N5 because of the government data. Or a solution for shopping around Dubai, for traveling, because of using the government data. So we need to start sharing our own stories. For those of you who are interested, Mohammed bin Rashid School of Government joined us to deliver the first public training on open data. The first round is already sold out in December. So this is another round in January, I guess. Yes, in January. Trying to spot the date, yeah. 17, 18 January on open data. So it's a 2-day workshop. We discuss in details what open data is, the business aspect, the legal aspect, technology aspects of open data. And it's open for the public, government employees, entrepreneurs, researchers, etc. So if you'd like, you can check mbrsg.ac.ae website for details. Thanks a lot. And please, if you have any questions, inquiries.
Which website, sorry, you said?
What is it?
Which website?
Mohammed bin Rashid School of Government, mbrsg.ac.ae.
Okay, I have a small question. Please.
Yeah, okay.
How much it takes time the Singapore or London just to move from, like just to have this shift? Are we talking in the region 5, 10, 15 years or like?
To have
like yes, just like how much it takes on the Singaporean experience?
That's a tricky question. But I mean, the US started their portal back in 2009 with dozens of data sets. Okay, now they have around 200,000. But it's not the portal, okay? It's the practice behind the portal. So the processes, the people trained to run the solution, the community you got, okay? So as I said, in UAE, we already have most of the ingredients we need to. So we have the leadership support. We have the law now, okay? Government got the data. We have the startup community. We need just to activate the practice itself, okay? And I think within kind of short time, we can start seeing results of this practice, yeah.
What is the difference between open data and big data?
What is?
Open data and big data.
Okay, I just highlighted that. It's not either or. So you can have, we talk about data, so you can have data open, but still being closed, or you can have open data being public, right? So today, many companies do social media analytics, let's say. They extract tweets from Twitter, right? Or posts from Facebook and dig into their data. If they manage to get millions of tweets, then you can call that big data, right? Yet, it's to some extent open for those who can access it, right? So that is big open data. You can have big data in your agency, but strictly accessible only by a few number of people. So big unclosed data, right? Yeah. Yes, please.
You talk about data sets.
Yeah.
It's an thank you. You're talking about data sets, so is this a certain format usually that's best for open data such as XML or raw data, Excel, PDF? Is it considered a data set? How do you define data sets?
Okay.
I know it's a tricky question, but...
No, I love it. And in a typical training session, we can spend good amount of time discussing and arguing about that. So let's say for the sake of simplicity, a spreadsheet is a data set, okay? A file is a data set. So you mentioned a lot of formats, and we talked about the format issue, that you can have it in a PDF, but that might help a lot but it might help people in using it. So better to have it in an open format like a spreadsheet, right? So let's say a file, when I say data set, I mean talking about a file containing data. Could be small file or big file with data. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, please.
This actually might build off that question. So, the examples you use with Facebook, Twitter, Google Maps, all of that's really accessible with an API of some sort, right? You're talking about there's someone who has a back end, you have access into that. That increases it kind of makes your front end part of it, like whoever's doing the work is easier because it's not like they have to make a spreadsheet and send it to you and post it somewhere. What's holding back that part of this? In the graph you showed, it looked like there's still most of this being done in Excel. Why aren't there more APIs being generated that just kind of make this available for people to access?
That's a very interesting point, and yes, there are. So if you go, for example, to data.gov.uk, you'll find the API there, details, where you can just connect your solution and then extract the data automatically. So, and this is another good practice when you have a government open data portal to have an API developed so people can easily get the feed. But when we discuss the practice, elaborate the basics of it, we talk about data sets, yes. But the API is a very important piece of tool to have it, yes. I think here we talk technology, right? Yeah. Developer?
No.
Okay.
Just play with it a bit.
Okay. Another question? Yes.
Okay, I think with that,
Time?
maybe we can close the session. Of course, Ibrahim, you're around to
Yes,
answer
please,
some of the questions on one-to-one basis. But thank you so much for
Appreciate
this.
it.
And I think some of the key takeaways are that open data, which is always considered as a techie thing. And,
Yes.
so at least I think for me, it is very, very consoling to say that okay, everybody could be part of this.
Exactly.
So it's a global motion which is picking up in UAE, and thanks for the session. I think it really talks a lot about this, and we will have this presentation as well as the video available for a download, so you can also pick up the links to go for a session that Ibrahim spoke about.
Sure.
That's coming up
Sure.
in January, right? So,
Okay, yes, please.
Yeah, and you guys are welcome to also join that.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Ibrahim.